members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to start by warmly thanking the government of Ecuador for inviting me and for full support to this mission and for sharing with me documentation and information extensively. Just before my press conference, I had the honor to meet His Excellency Mr. Correa, President of the Republic of Ecuador. During my stay here, I also met with various authorities, including the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Minister of Education, the Coordination Minister of Social Inclusion, the Minister of Justice and Human Rights and Cults, the Minister of Knowledge and Human Talent, and the National Secretary for Higher Education. I also met with authorities in San Pradesh and Defensorio del Pueblo, as well as representatives from the United Nations system, international organizations, and numerous civil society organizations. I also had the opportunity to visit schools and meet with directors and teachers and parents in Quito, Guayaquil, and Cayambe. And I would like to thank all those who met me and shared their valuable experience and provided information. Today, I am here to share my preliminary impression of the visit, and I will present a full report to Human Rights Council in June 2013. Ladies and gentlemen, over the past years, Ecuador has made unprecedented commitment to achieving universal right to education, and the country gives highest priority to education. The new Constitution of 2008 is a landmark in establishing a comprehensive normative framework for universal access to education at all levels and free education at secondary level. And Uruguay has developed a number of laws in conformity with the Constitution, but I must say that many provisions in the Constitution are in conformity with international human rights treaties and obligations of states. Ecuador is going through a process of historical reform, and everywhere I was pleased to hear about the key importance of education for national development and share commitment of all stakeholders to participate in this process. Throughout my visit, everyone highlighted the importance of innovative concept of good living, buen vivir, suma causa, in the context of right to education and its essential objectives. The legal and policy reforms are very important step. This is shown by, for example, the investment in education, which has tremendously increased in recent years. A solid legal framework is essential to ensure sustainability and continuity in public policies, given the historical experience of past in this country. And therefore, I was very impressed with long-term planning and coordination of public policies as shown in the 2006-2015 Decennial Plan for Education. The government efforts to develop and apply human rights-based approach to planning are indeed commendable. These are extremely important if the country wants to reverse the serious impact of limited planning and extreme political volatility experienced in the past. Ladies and gentlemen, education is a public good, and the state should never renounce its obligation to preserve it as such, as common good. I would like especially to commend the provisions in the Constitution of Ecuador, which lays down Constitution of 2008, that education shall respond to public interest and not be used for individual or corporate interest. And this, I think, is a key concept of education policy. There are huge challenges in the country for accomplishing the ambitious reform program. The government can and must provide leadership in the establishment of education system that offers quality. Let me highlight in the context of achievement some of the problems and limitations. For example, one of the achievements is that public education system is becoming more attractive in terms of universal access to quality education. But there are so many quality imperatives which must be responded to. For example, the infrastructure. There has to be adequate infrastructure for imparting quality education, especially in the schools, in rural areas, marginalized areas, and those for the indigenous community and Afro-Ecuadorian. But quality also requires qualified teachers, trained teachers, and although there has been increase in salaries, I think there is need for increasing quality teacher training programs and ensure that all those teachers have good career opportunities and have social esteem. Also in the higher education system, there are a number of initiatives in terms of promoting research and academic performance, and I would like to commend the decision by the authorities to examine conditions in order to ensure adequate engagement and prevent education as business in accordance with the constitutional law which I mentioned just now. In the field of higher education, opportunities are being broadened by way of scholarships in country and abroad, and emphasis on improving research and level of quality higher education. Universities have autonomy, but they also have accountability, and I think it's important to respect the academic freedom while holding university higher education system accountable in terms of use of resources. An area of sector of education, an area which I would like particularly to highlight, is that of technical and vocational education, which deserves great attention. And there is need, in my view, for an institutionalized system of collaboration between schools or government authorities and industry and enterprises. Ladies and gentlemen, another big challenge in Ecuador is that of overcoming disparities in education, as in many countries. This is a permanent challenge, and despite recent advances, communities living in poverty, indigenous people, Afro-descendants, remain underserved and need greater attention. It is also important in this context to give particular attention to the intercultural education. I would also like to mention the need for making education more equitable, universal in the context of new initiatives such as Millennium Educational Units, replica schools, which try to create more opportunities, but where we need to pay attention in order that there is no disparity and that equality of opportunity guides our action. Indeed, having consideration to the poverty reduction strategies, it is important that social justice and equity guide all state initiatives in the field of education. Education, in conclusion, let me say, education is not only responsibility of the government alone, it is also a social responsibility. In this process, government should, without hesitation, maintain a dialogue with all stakeholders and civil society partners so that they all remain engaged in this decisive process. There is need, in my view, for a good communication strategy seeking active involvement of the whole education community. And thank you very much. If there are any questions, comment, I am at your disposal. Thank you. Muchísimas gracias.